Well, my name's Jeff Sailing. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Startup NV. I'm also a general partner in Fund NV and 1864, which are the funds that invest in the companies that come through our program. Thanks for coming out to Pitch Day for 500K. We've rebranded because we looked backwards at all the companies and all the investments that we've made. And guess what? We average about 500K, even though our fund invests 100K. By the time it gets matched and everything else happens, most of the investments are actually 500K or more. So we are now Pitch Day for 500K. And it's a great day to pitch. It's a great evening to pitch. Today, we're going to hear from Max at SwiftFin and Jim at Accelevate. And thanks for going through the process to get here and pitch with us tonight. On average, we look at 15 or 20 companies for every company that gets to stand up in front of this room to pitch. So thanks for going through the grind and getting your decks reviewed and all the rest of the stuff you had to do to get here today. Startup NV is Nevada's statewide nonprofit startup accelerator and incubator. We operate 7 programs for entrepreneurs and 4 for-profit investment funds. Government grants and corporate sponsors support our nonprofit mission in the short term. And over the long term, that mission is supported by accelerator companies that pledge a small amount of their equity and investors in our funds who donate part of the profit from their investments back to the nonprofit. Now, we run Pitch Day for 500K fortnightly on Wednesdays, and companies pitch for the Q&A that they're going to get from the folks here in the room and the folks online. And that also comes with an investment from Fund NV. And now that fund, that base investment of $100,000 is added to by our investor syndicate. And then that whole bunch of money is then matched by the state of Nevada. The state of Nevada's SSBCI program to average about $500,000. Since 2021, our funds have completed 30 transactions in 22 different companies, directly investing $9.4 million. And then partners like GoEd and others invest alongside us that have made that $9 million into about $30 million worth of investing. So that's where the average of about 500K comes from our direct investments, or about $1.5 million when you count those partners that also invest. Our $9.4 million worth of direct investments are currently worth $27.3 million. So those folks who are our partners are pretty happy about that. It's a pretty good track record for investing. Now, the lawyers make me read this next part. The founders are pitching today for investment from our venture funds and from our syndicate, which comply with SEC and Nevada certified investor regulations. We invite the whole community to come and attend for educational purposes, kind of like watching the hopefully kinder version of Shark Tank. So once again, the pitches today are not a general solicitation for investment because that wouldn't be the right thing to do. So our nonprofit work would not be possible without the financial help from grants and sponsors, the City of Las Vegas, Clark County, Governor's Office of Economic Development, the EDA, and the USDA are our main supporters, and thank you very much for that support. So just a couple of program notes before we get started. We are live on YouTube, and we're also recording this session. We're also on Zoom. We create 2 recordings for each company. One that's just the pitch. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and do you have any questions? That, unless you tell us otherwise, remains on our YouTube channel for people to watch later. The recording that contains that plus all the questions, that's private. Only our investors see that, and then our founders can share that with whoever they want. Now, we usually get a few hundred folks watching live and viewing the recordings afterwards. So you guys, founders, may get Q&A from outside of this session. And most of the time, that's pretty cool to get people tracking you down. Sometimes it's a little weird. So just be professional when that happens, when it gets a little weird. Please respond professionally. Each founder gets 10 minutes to pitch. Be sure to finish on time or we'll get the hook out. So that gets awkward. So make sure you finish on time. Maggie will give you warnings. You will hear her voice coming over the speaker. Questions go in the chat. So if you're here in the room and you have a question, please join the Zoom and type your questions into the chat. Maggie asks all the questions. We get through a lot more questions that way. And then we can consolidate the same questions into having it one time. From an announcement point of view, Max, get ready because you're about to come up here. So we have our Angel NV program also happening right now. We had our second meeting last night. We are narrowing from 16 companies down to 10 over the course of the next week and a half. We have over 90 investors in our program this year. Right now we have pledged about $500,000. Normally we come to town and say, we're going to do a $200,000 investment in one company. But right now we have about $500,000 that has been pledged. So we're hoping to invest in more than one company. So it's taking off. We're pretty happy with that. So those 16 companies that are pitching for the 10 final spots, eventually we'll get it down to 6. And that finale is planned for March 29th, Saturday, at Las Vegas City Hall in City Council chambers. So mark your calendars for that day to come out and join us and watch the 6 finalists pitch. And one of them is going to get an investment of at least $200,000. I think there's going to be a lot more money to spread around by the time we get to March 29th. Jim, you're up. I think Andrew's going to run your slides.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. Hey, no worries.
All right, Jim, I'm going to start the timer after you introduce yourself and your company.
Okay, I'm Jim Mory. I'm one of the founders, co-founders of Accelevate Solutions, based here in Henderson, Nevada. Shall we get started, Maggie? Okay, great. So I'm Jim Mory. Great to have you all here. It's actually fantastic, post-COVID to actually see people in a room again, which is really nice. So I'm going to give you a little background. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time with the slides. It's going to go pretty fast. I think we got a very compelling value proposition. A little history on, why Accelevate. Myself and my family have actually funded another company that was based in Arizona. It was in the EV powertrain business. We were building very complex batteries, working with ASU and had a great relationship with the university. We actually took that company to about 100-person employee count and about $80 million valuation. And we learned a lot through that process, very hardware centric. And again, very capital intensive. A lot of you folks would be looking at me going, why are you here? And we had a lot of that when we were doing this. But we spent a lot of time talking to customers. And the thing that we found learning from our customer is they absolutely have no clue. And I'm talking commercial fleets, large commercial fleets from AT&T, Verizon, all the way down to the 100 to 50 vehicle fleet. Every single fleet we worked with, and there were hundreds of them, all of them had very little information about how their vehicles were actually operating in the field. They didn't understand their energy profile. They didn't understand, how the vehicles were being driven. They didn't understand how the vehicles were being maintained. Most anybody was just doing it for purely geofencing. Where's my vehicle? I don't want to track my asset. I have to know where it is because it's, a value to my business. So there's a lot of gaps we found in the marketplace. And as I walked away from that company and we started thinking about ways that if we were to bridge a customer to an EV platform or to a CNG platform or to some low emission capability, or even how do we optimize them, we thought to ourselves, we first have to look at how they're burning energy today. What are they doing with the asset? What are they doing with payloads? How are the drivers behaving? What are the vehicles? How they're performing? Are they degrading in performance? All of this information is available, but it's not being collected or harvested very well. So when we started thinking about our company, Accelevate, we really thought to ourselves, let's go into the software connected architecture world and let's really build a rich environment for our customer. Let's bridge them. Let's help them get to a value of not only optimizing their fleet and reducing cost, but how do we then take them to the next level of reducing emissions? So that's what Accelevate is doing. It's really baseline the operation, bring the cost down, and then we're going to go ahead and really give them an opportunity to reduce those emissions. And still, it's surprising. Many, many customers are still looking to support some emission decrease over the next 2 to 3 years. So why EBI? We created this concept called energy blend intelligence. Well, we thought, wow, this is kind of cool, right? I mean, energy blend. This is what most fleet operators work with. It's not just gas. It's not just diesel. It's now CNG. It's LPG. And it's now EV. So a lot of commercial fleets are actually looking for EV applications because it does bring down the actual dollar to operate as well as your service costs. So we actually found ourselves in a very unique place because most of our customers are looking for this type of data as you go around this particular arc. They're looking for how do we baseline, how do we get into understanding where the contributions of my costs are, and then how do I reduce the cost? What's the one factor we all work with as a commercial fleet operator? they're a cost center, right? The vehicles are cost, the drivers are cost because they're delivering payloads. They're actually doing something. They're taking something from A to B. So they're a cost center. The only way to actually improve margin is bring the cost down. So we are really focused on not only just the cost reduction, but how do we generate value and get this customer now to reducing those emissions. So with that, we got a very simple data architecture. This is a pure software architecture. It is connected to a device that sits in the OBD port. So we're using standard OBD. We're using standard commercially available solutions. There's absolutely no hardware we actually have to worry about, sell, or anything else. We basically have a connected partner with Geotab. We provide the Geotab device. Geotab has 6 million devices under contract, so they're pretty large. And we're able to then, use that device straight into the OBD. It takes 5 minutes to activate. Boom, we light up we light up our cloud, and we're ready to deliver data to our customer. So obviously, great analytics that we're developing on the side. We are working with some very large customers, and I'll get to that in a second. But we're actually getting to some very intriguing feedback, which is fantastic. No better feedback than a customer, right? What are your pain points? What problems are you trying to solve? And then how does our solution actually fit back into the solution architecture of how they reduce cost? So really cool stuff that we're doing. I can't see with this one question coming in, but there's the portal down here, which is actually really cool. The portal is dynamic. It is live. We have a production portal, a dev portal, as well as a service portal for our customers. See if I can get this to work.
The focus was off from turning that question.
Oh, it did?
Now
okay, now it'll work. Okay, so here's our team. I know there's a question about, well, who's working full-time, who's not working full-time. Most of the people on your slide here are working full-time. The only one that's not is Amy. Amy's part-time. She's actually got another job. She's a controller. Obviously, we don't need probably a full-time controller at this point. We do have a CFO that is part of the family, but really only helping from securities management and things like that, because we're actually selling securities today. So we're actually out in the market. We've been raising money, and we've done a pretty good job, I think, so far to build the value of the business. So most of these folks here are full-time. Darren, longtime friend of mine, but one of the smartest guys in risk I've ever seen. Paul Van Gool, he's doing not only embedded, but also our data science. He's got a PhD. And then Paul Falstad, he put the MTA, which is your message transfer agent, for all email in the market back in the late 1990s. So pretty smart guy. Let's see here. Big market. We got a huge market. The market right now, it's amazing. When I actually was looking at the data, the telematic and what I'd say connected vehicle market is going to outpace AI between now and 2032. Go figure, right? You're probably thinking, no, Jim, you're nuts. Actually, I thought I was nuts too. But the data is so incredible when it comes into connected vehicle activity. Everybody wants a software-defined vehicle. Everybody wants a software-defined architecture. They want to have control. They want to understand where their assets are going, and they want to make sure they can actually get in front of any maintenance of the asset, because right now it takes about 2 months to fix a vehicle. So the market is massive. It's literally going to grow to 300 billion, in the space that we're going to be continuing to grow our business. I suspect, given the growth rate that we anticipate just with our software solution, we're going to be, probably in and out of the market, fairly fast. SaaS business model, very simple. 2 areas that we're actually charging our customers: $30 a month for Greenfield, 15 if you've already got a device. If you've already got a Geotab device, we're $15 a month. And we can actually give you a discount. We can go all the way down to 10. We already have a customer at 10. So we are able to make money at $10 a month. That's how lean we are in terms of our COGS. Our EBIX, this is going to be our own device. It's literally a device we commercially buy. We drop our own embedded code on it. We can actually do over-the-air updates on it. So if we have other auxiliary systems, very cool, very lean. We're able to update our customers and give them high-resolution data for $40 a month. We're seeing prices of $65 to $100 a month right now in the market. So we're really a nice discount. Wow, this is odd. So the color's not right, but again, landscape is here. You've got Verizon, Geotab, Samsara. Some big names. These are all public companies. They're all doing big telematics. It's a fantastic landscape. You've got great validation in the market for what we're doing. I'm super jazzed to be a part of this. And we've got Geotab. Both Charlie and I have actually had dinner with the CEO of Geotab. Really nice guy, family-owned business. Like I said, they have about 6 million units under contract right now. So not a small firm. Revenue. So we generated some revenue in 24. We got some new revenue coming in early 25. we're going to, hit 3,000 subscriptions this year. We're going to raise the money that we want to raise, hit 3,000 subscriptions. It's going to be on the order of about 75 to 100K a month of revenue that you're going to generate from that, depending on the type of device we're actually putting in the market, in the vehicles. But we're pretty confident we're going to be able to get to that 3,000 number just based on our current pipeline. And speaking of pipeline, here it is. We've got some signed contracts already. We're generating revenue from those signed contracts. One of the key launch customers is Fenol. Fenol has 10,000 vehicles in their fleet. One of the largest. I don't know if you guys know Fenol. Family-owned business, great company. They have a delivery service, which is absolutely phenomenal. I really like working with these guys. But we've got some great contracts. We've been working with Quick Park as well out in LAX. Funding milestones. We, the family, we have about 225,000 in. So we've, don't have the debt yet, but we're working on that. But we've got some money in. We've actually got some new subscription agreements coming in. We are selling an equity. So we can go to a convertible note if we need to, based on the type of structure we want to put in front of the investors. But right now we're selling a common stock. But we've got 225 in, 3,000 is what we're looking for at the end of 25. And then we're going to grow to 25,000 after that. And then here's our seed round. Our seed round is very simple. We're raising 2. We've got an $8 million pre-money. We're going to be 10 post. And then we've got a Series A coming in after this. That is it for today. I got in just at the nick of time, Maggie.
Thanks so much. So thanks again for the presentations and for grinding through the coffee. Just a couple program notes as we wrap up here. Investors, if you're curious about how to invest in these opportunities or things like them, join our Angel NV group, which is going on right now. Go to angelnv.com, fill out a form, and you can join the, I think 90, they were coming in while we were sitting here. I think we're up to 95 or 96 people in the group now, and over $500,000. So if you want to learn how to do this early stage investing, it's a great way to do it. And you get to make a lot of friends and see a lot of really interesting companies along the way. We do have a pre-seed fund, Fund NV, which is the fund that makes the investments in the companies that you like, the ones you saw here pitching today, and our big fund, our $10 million seed fund, 1864. And then once you're in any of our groups, you're in our investor syndicate. You get to see all sorts of interesting deals come out, usually 5 or 6 or 7 of them every year. So just check out the investor page at startupnv.org and you'll find out lots more about that. And one last announcement, or a couple last announcements. So first, we're going to have another pitch day 2 weeks from today on February 5th. I believe that's the day. It's always on a Wednesday. It'll always be at 5:30. The next one is at Woven. It's that's the old post office building at Las Vegas Boulevard and Bridger. It's turned from an old concrete post office building into this gorgeous glass thing. I'm wondering how the HVAC is going to work in the summer because the whole thing is glass there. So, but it is really a cool looking building. I can't wait to see how things go there. And this is our first time here at this building, and we'll be back here. And we'd love to have feedback, best locations. How did it look on Zoom today this time? Because we're in a different location. If you wouldn't mind just messaging us on our LinkedIn page at the Startup NV LinkedIn page. Tell us what you thought, how you liked it. You loved this location, you hated this location, you loved the parking, you hated the parking. The traffic was good, the traffic was bad, whatever. We want to try to figure out what our game plan is going to be, hopefully during the first quarter, so we can have that same game plan for the rest of the year. So we're going to keep asking you, how did we do? And please share your feedback. But be nice. You know what I mean. So we'll be back at Woven in 2 weeks from today, and with 2 different startup founders. And until then, take care of yourself, and if you can, someone else too. We'll see you in 2 weeks.